Unlock the secrets of franchising success with the Franchise Life podcast. Hosted by Stacie Shannon. Join us for expert insights, success stories, and practical tips every week. Subscribe now and take your franchise journey to the next level.
Hello and welcome to the Franchise Life. Today we have Colt Florence, who is the VP of Franchise Development for 5-Star Franchising, and we are going to focus on different aspects of franchising to help prospects as they're exploring and things that they should really be in tune with when comparing different brands and perhaps parent companies. So welcome, Colt.
Thank you, Stacie. I'm very excited to be here, and any chance I get to talk about franchising, I jump at it. So thank you for inviting me.
Fantastic. Okay. Before I dive into my questions for you, give us a high-level overview of what 5-Star Franchising is.
Yeah, so 5-Star Franchising is an umbrella or a portfolio company of 6 different home service brands. And so we have taken the strategy of saying we want to invest in segment leaders and kind of very industry specific companies that exist out there. And so our 6 brands are all within the home service space, and they consist of what is called Card My Yard. And that's a company where, I don't know if you've ever seen the bubble letters in somebody's front yard that say like "Happy Birthday, John." That's what Card My Yard does. They go and print those letters, put them up, take them down. We have Mosquito Shield, which is a mosquito abatement and protection company. 1-800-PACKOUTS, which is a contents restoration company. Got You Covered, which is a blinds installations and windows covering company. Bio One, which is a crime scene and hoarding cleanup business, and 5-Star Bath Solutions, which is a bath renovation company. So all very unique in their own segments, but that's the strategy we've taken and the type of businesses we like.
So, Colt, how do you choose new businesses to add to your portfolio?
Yeah, it's unique, so a lot of times what franchise companies do is they go out and they say, well, let's find which companies can complement each other. We want our franchisees to diversify, and we want them to own 10 different businesses, and we want them all to be within our portfolio. Where we haven't taken that strategy. We've actually said, let's go out and find very specific, unique industries, and let's invest into the businesses that are dominant within that space. We really don't want diversification. We want our franchisees to be experts within that space and to grow their business as much as possible. And so when we take a look at new acquisitions, the questions we always ask ourselves is it a unique industry where there's not too much saturation involved? And is the business that we are taking a look at the dominant force within that industry? And if we answer yes to both of those, we know we're on the right path.
So AI is a big topic in, in any industry today. So I'm really curious, over the past couple years and looking forward, how has 5-Star Franchising integrated in AI from a umbrella company standpoint? And how are you addressing or integrating in any AI technology for your franchise owners?
Yeah, great question. So AI is happening whether or not we want it to, and it's going to continue to be a dominant force in every industry, in every space. The biggest question that we've asked ourselves is how can we utilize it to benefit us? What can we do to help our franchisees grow, and what can we do to make our customer experience better? And so that's really where we have focused, because AI cannot replace doing content restoration. AI cannot replace going and spraying somebody's backyard for mosquito protection. What it can do, though, is it can make the customer experience substantially better. It can make our franchisees more efficient and effective with running their business. And so a lot of where we have placed emphasis and focus with AI is saying, in those back-end systems, where can we help our franchisees become more efficient? Is it going to be through the CRMs that they are using and the automated tasks and processes that they are following, whether it be accounting, whether it be customer follow-up, whether it be marketing? Is it with the inventory and the logistics of handling the inventory that they're going to be utilizing and the pricing associated with it? Or is it just overall customer experience the moment that somebody requests to learn more information, that they're getting an AI agent that is calling them and asking them questions and walking them through a sales cycle? And so with each one of our businesses, it's been a bit unique, but our main focus has been how can we utilize it to help our franchisees be more efficient, and how can we utilize it to help our customers have a better experience, which is helping us, I think, stand out within the space, which has been great.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it is happening whether or not we like it, and it's a matter of embracing it and finding out how to utilize it to the best of our advantage, in regardless what sector you're in. All right. So my job, I have a consulting company where I work with prospects day in and day out to try to find the best franchise fits for them, have access to hundreds of brands. And so I'm curious from your side of being a franchisor in this space and seeing prospects go through the discovery process and education process, what is one green light that you see when a prospect is going through? What stands out maybe as a wow or aha, like this person could be a really great fit for one of our brands? And then what is a red flag that you might see? Because it is a two-way process. Just as the client is, evaluating you as a franchise and possible investment, you're evaluating them as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. So it's actually interesting, Stacie. In every single one of our processes for our 6 brands, I do an executive approval call at the end of the process before they come to a discovery day with us. And that approval call is me making sure that they are still a good fit for us and we are a good fit for them before we start having some of those serious conversations. And the green light that I always look for is, have they taken proactive steps on their own outside of our sales cycle to validate whether or not this is going to be the right fit for them? And so that could be, have they called some competitors in the space and gotten quotes and understood pricing and what their process looks like? Have they done in-depth research into the industry outside of the information that we provided them? How proactive are they being outside of the information and the phone calls that we are having with them? Because I think that really not only shows the excitement that they have, but also I think it shows the accountability and responsibility they are going to feel the moment that they open the doors. They're not going to be just purely dependent on us for their success. They're already taking proactive steps, which is vital in business ownership. And that leads me to the red flag. Oftentimes people think because they're looking at purchasing a franchise that it's guaranteed success, and it's not at all. Franchising, even though it is increased probability of success and there's systems and support in place and a successful business model, it is still dependent on that person to be a business owner and make it a successful business venture. And so I think the biggest red flag that I see in the process is when people are starting to be more dependent on, well, what are you going to do for me to generate revenue? Or what are you going to do to help me close deals? Or what are you going to do to get more leads into my door? All of those are good questions. However, at the end of the day, the better question is, what can I be doing to generate more revenue? What can I be doing to get more leads? And really feeling that self-accountability. So the biggest red flag is, even though you're buying a franchise and it increases your success rate, it still is dependent on you, and you need to feel that accountability. And if you don't, you probably shouldn't be buying a franchise.
That's a really interesting perspective, and you are absolutely right. I mean, part of the prospect's due diligence is definitely understanding the support of the franchisor, but at the end of the day, what they put into it is what they are going to get out of it. I mean, they are responsible for the profit and loss. At the end of the day, this is their business. They are simply leveraging a proven business model and the support of the franchisor.
Exactly it. And that's what I tell people is, if I wanted to get in really good shape, I'd hire a trainer, and the trainer would build out my diet, they'd build out my workout regimen, they'd try and hold me accountable. All of that is fantastic, but it only works if I get up off the couch and I go and follow that diet. I go to the gym and I follow out the workout regimen. And it's the same in franchising. All of that is there for you, but it is still very dependent on you to implement those systems and get your butt off the couch and go be successful within your business.
Love that analogy. All right. So that brings me to another very important question. I would say the majority of the clients that I have worked with and am working with are looking for, there's a term called semi-passive ownership. I like to say semi-involved ownership. I like to turn it to more of a positive, but the two models are really owner operator or semi-involved, right? Or executive model. So what do you see mostly as a trend with five-star franchising? What are most prospects seeking out from a ownership model standpoint? And what do you see across the board as the most successful ownership model?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's interesting. Most people come in thinking, hey, I want to be semi-passive or semi-involved. I want to continue to have an income in the background. All of that is great until they realize what it takes to build a successful business following that type of model. It takes having a manager in place, paying them a salary, more expenses associated with it, a longer ramp because of the expenses. And then they start to realize, well, what would happen if from day one I just went all in? And then they realize a quicker ramp, more dedication to the success of the business, quicker profitability because of it. And so I think as a whole at Five Star, we see a lot of people wanting semi-passive until they realize they're going to hit their goals substantially quicker by going all in. And then they say, you know what, I am going to go all in. I am going to jump in and I'm going to be an owner operator and be in the business model on a daily basis. And I think it's the same within the industry. And so what I tell every person is if you want semi-passive, that's okay. You just need to be prepared for it to take longer to be profitable. You need to be prepared for having a general manager who isn't as dedicated to the success of this business as you would be in that position. And all those things will happen and the business will grow slower, but you can get to the point of profitable and semi-passive and income coming in. Owner operator is going to be a lot quicker. You just need to decide which one better fits your end goal and what you're trying to do through business ownership.
So would you also say that certain brands that you have within your portfolio are better suited to semi-passive ownership, or do you think that mindset is applicable across all of your brands?
Yeah, I think it's definitely both, all of the above. I think the owner operator is going to be applicable to any company because it's almost going back to that analogy of the fitness. If I'm only half dedicated to it, I'm only going to get half the results. Where if I'm fully dedicated to it, I'm probably going to see results a lot quicker. And business is no different than that. However, when you take a look, there are some brands that from a semi-passive model definitely support it a lot better. You know, whether it's through marketing programs they have in place, whether it's through sales programs they have in place. Franchisors and business models can take some responsibilities off the plate of a franchisee where others just can't. Like we take a look at our 1-800 pack outs. Our franchisees have to go out and they have to network and they have to, get in with referral partners and insurance companies. It takes our owner to go and do that, to go knock on those doors and build those relationships where a five-star Bass Solutions, you just need to put money behind marketing sources and that generates leads for you. So that could be more of a semi-passive opportunity. So I think to answer your question, the answer is both for sure, but it all just comes back down to the owner and how quickly they want to hit their goals and how dedicated they are to hitting those goals through that business ownership.
Okay, Colt, if there were one trait that you wish every franchise owner had from day one, just based upon your experience in this industry, what would you say that is?
Yeah, I would say it is extreme ownership or extreme accountability. So jumping into it and saying whether or not I am successful within this business or whether or not I achieve the levels of success I want, I will take accountability and ownership over it. And, going back before, it's because they're buying into a franchise, sometimes they think I should be guaranteed this, but the reality is you will still be the largest determining factor as to how successful your business is. And so the people from day one that step in and say, you know what, I'm going to work my butt off to make this successful, and I'm going to take all accountability over the successes and failures I have within it. Almost 90% of the time, they end up being the top 10% to top 5% performers within the system just due to how they approach it and the mindset they approach it with.
Well, you have a little sign right behind you. It says, it is not how good you are, it is how good you want to be. And I think, that very much aligns with that mindset of accountability and taking ownership because at the end of the day, that owner does have 100% responsibility of that business, regardless of the ownership model, right?
Amen to that, 100%.
All right. So if you were to put on your uh, futuristic hat, what would you say, where would you see the franchise industry 3 years from now? How would it be different than it is today?
Mm. Yeah, it's a good question. It's a deep question too, Stacie. Goodness.
Deep
I
thoughts, deep thoughts.
Yes, deep thoughts. I think the franchise industry, I see it continuing to explode. And the reason I see it continuing to explode, even specifically with the home service space, is real estate is becoming more and more of a finite asset. The more and more that real estate is being locked up and houses are being built, it is going to require people to continue to invest back into the properties that they own rather than purchasing new properties or building new properties. And so when I take a look at the franchising space specifically within home service, I see it completely taking off because whether it be somebody wanting to be in the, bath renovation business or the blinds installation or contents restoration, whatever it may be, people are going to spend more money on their existing properties and people are going to want to own businesses that can capitalize off of that money being spent. When you take a look at franchising, you're going to want to buy into something that already has pre-negotiated rates, massive buying power, training, and everything. So I see within the next 3 to 5 years, the home service space just continuing to exponentially increase and the franchising being the forefront of it because we have the systems to capitalize off of it.
All right. So on a last note, how do you, just building upon that, how do you think that five-star franchising as an umbrella company is going to stand out or differentiate itself from its competitors in this space?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think when you take a look at home services in general, majority of the time where home services tend to lack or they struggle is through customer experience. You call somebody, call a plumber, whoever it may be, and they don't have good personable, skills on the phone. They're a couple months out because they're so busy, and you say, "Oh my gosh, this was the worst experience." Or they come into your house and they're dirty and so we have really focused on what can we do to set ourselves apart from the competition with a white glove experience. So when a customer takes a look at utilizing one of our brands, it's going to be the best experience that they could have within the industry that they are going to be utilizing. And so we really plan on continuing to focus on that customer experience, knowing that there's going to be a need for the service no matter what. Our question is, how can we set ourselves apart so the customer wants to work with us and they have a good experience versus the other competitors in the space who maybe just aren't as focused in those areas, and we're going to capitalize off of it because of that.
All right. So I said on a last note, but I do have one other question, and it's kind of a leading question because I do think that it is very important. And I use it as a differentiator when I am presenting one of five-star brands. But you guys offer insurance for franchise owners. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, yeah. So we have figured out a program to where our franchise owners could come into an already pre-negotiated insurance plan for them that they could purchase into, and it allows them to continue to have insurance benefits without being completely gouged through jumping into business ownership.
So I do think that is a huge differentiator for you. I am part of a franchise system. I'm a franchise owner, uh, an umbrella brand similar to five-star franchising and home services. And and looking across the industry, I don't know of any other, or if there are, maybe one or two others that have that as a benefit to their franchise owners. So I do think that that is also a very important differentiator for you guys from my perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of franchisors don't necessarily realize the power that they have to hold their vendors accountable. And so when we take a look at five-star franchising, we purchase over $100 million a year in different products or services from different vendors. And so our main focus has been what can we do to push those vendors to get our franchisees the best pricing, to get creative with solutions and different offerings that they have. And that was one of those things that came from it. And so we are constantly focused on how can we ensure we're holding all vendors accountable for every aspect of our business to provide the best service and best pricing to our franchisees? And that's just the benefit of being part of an umbrella company like Five Star is we push to take care of our franchisees due to the purchasing power that comes with our company.
All right. So I have one fun question to
Yeah.
end on, and this is the very last question. And this may be an unfair question, but I'm going to do it anyhow. So, if you were to invest in one five-star brand, what brand would that be and why?
Oh, that is an unfair question, Stacie. Oh man. I love all of them. So the way that I've always approached my personal investments and where I push candidates to approach their investments is take a look at the goal you have and that you want through this investment, and then find the quickest vehicle to get you to that goal. Don't have any emotional or sentimental value attached to it, just what is going to be the fastest vehicle to get you to your goal. And so as I've taken a look at that over the years with Five Star and the brands that we have in place, honestly, all of them get me there extremely fast. The one I like the most, though, is actually 1-800-PACK-OUTS. And the reason I like it the most is because it has a very interesting reoccurring passive revenue model where we take contents out of somebody's house, we clean them and place them in our warehouse, and then we just bill insurance companies every single month that is sitting in our warehouse until we bring it back to a property. And so I've evaluated based off of my personal strengths of saying, do I feel like I could get in front of a customer and land that job? If the answer is yes, then the model just suits to have recurring revenue come in. And so for that reason, I've really liked pack-outs for me and my personal strengths that I have.
All right. Well, I promise that was the last question. So, and thank you for playing along with that. I know it was tough, especially in the role you're at representing all of these brands. So
They're all my babies, Stacie.
they
They're all my
are,
babies.
they are. Well, Colt, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. For anybody that is interested in learning more about five-star franchising brands, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks and have a great day.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more on the franchise life.